Yeah, ready.
Hi, this is Sharon Bornholt with Innovative Property Solutions in the Louisville Gals Real Estate Blog, and I'm just real happy today to have my friend Mike Butler on the call for our Escaping the 9 to 5 How I Did It series. To tell you a little bit about Mike, Mike began investing in real estate while he was still a full-time undercover detective right here in Louisville, Kentucky. And like a lot of policemen, they have side jobs, and Mike figured out pretty quickly that the way to go was with real estate. So he started his real estate investing career with less than $1,000. And I think his path was quite different than most of the folks I've talked to, because he had bought something like 75 properties before he got any help in the office, and then he sprung for a girl 5 hours a week or something. Mike's always been a master of systems, though, so I think that's why he was able to pull it off. He's also never gone to a bank, never used private money, never used a hard money lender. He's also the author of a book which hit the #1 business book bestseller list on Amazon called Landlording on Autopilot. He's developed numerous systems and products, and he helps a lot of other real estate investors achieve their success. He's the past president of Korea, has been featured on Money Magazine, the Wall Street Journal. Mike's mission is training future millionaires. So, and that's just a few of the things he's accomplished. So, hi, Mike. I'm glad to have you on the call.
Hello, Sharon. How you doing? I ain't seen you in a while, lady.
Yeah, I'm doing great. So, you have such an interesting story, and I want you to tell folks about of course, we said you were a police detective, and I want you to tell them about that, but also take us back to that time and tell us a little bit about how you juggled all of this.
Well, I was married. I had 2 little beautiful girls, and being the oldest of 7 kids growing up in the south end of Louisville, Kentucky, over by Churchill Downs, when you look around and what a definition of success was, you might have been raised that same way too, Sharon. Mm-hmm. But success in my neighborhood was kind of like this. Get a good job at a good company, get your house paid for, you get a pension, get yourself a ride more, figure out where to put a cooler at so you put beer in that, cut your grass during the week, then maybe go hunting and fishing on the weekends. And the folks that we looked up to as mentors or as superstars or as success stories were folks who were, let's say, business owners. Mm-hmm. And that might be an electrician or a plumber. It might be the mom and pop bakery on the corner. But when I went to church on Sundays or went over to friends, schoolmates' houses, their parents, none of them were attorneys or CPAs or doctors, educated professionals. Nah, that was never on the radar. So understanding that, and that's the environment that I grew up in, to be a superstar meant you had to learn how to do things with ease with your hands to save money so that you could make more money. Mm-hmm. And that was wrong. And I still struggle with that to this day. And so I saw policemen that when I just got started as a full-time police officer back then, I would see policemen that would be ready to retire. They get ticked off at the boss and they go, they throw up their favorite finger. Mm-hmm. Then they go get a job on the backside of Churchill Downs guarding horses on graveyard shift for minimum wage. I didn't want that. And then I see other folks that would do like you call the off-duty moonlighting jobs. Mm-hmm. They might sit in a bank, parking lot, or work a church picnic, but they're trading their hours for dollars. Well, in the real world, I had enough money coming in to get by, to buy groceries and take care of the kids and mom and insurance. And so I wanted to invest. Mm-hmm. Now, I didn't know what I was doing, but I stumbled over this thing called real estate. And what I learned, Sharon, was what else could I, this was back in the day now, I only had $1,000 in the bank in my Louisville Police Officers Credit Union. Still there today. Mm-hmm. Anyway, I had $1,000 there. And I bought an old HUD house. Remember those?
I do. I remember those.
HUD house. Back then, they put them in the Sunday paper. It's a 2-bedroom stinker. And I went over there using these things right here, fixed it up myself in 13 days, and rented it out. I bought the thing for $17,000. I did not go to a bank and get a loan. I've never bought a piece of real estate with a bank loan. Never gone to a bank to ask permission to buy. So anyway, so I fixed that thing up, and lo and behold, long story short, I put a tenant in there, and the thing rented, I was making back then probably about $175 a month. So I bought this house with no money out of my pocket. I fixed it up, and now I've got a tenant in it who's paying every month. I refinanced it after I got it pretty, okay? I put it together and refinanced it. So my house payment was like $196.43. I was renting it for $350. Oh my gosh. I thought I was sharp, okay? So I'm making all that, and I got it rented. So here's the bottom line. What else could you buy that doesn't cost you anything out of your pocket? Somebody else is going to pay for it. It puts money in your pocket every month if you do it right. And I did not have a clue about the tax benefits when I did that. I was just using good old South End common sense.
Math.
And then on top of that, it went up in value. Now, that's different a little bit in today's market. But look at that getting started for a young, hungry kid that's married with 2 daughters. And you know what? It goes up in value. And by the time that I could retire from the police department, oh my gosh. If I could have 3 or 4 or 5 of these things paid for, I would double my police pension. So I didn't want to work church picnics. I didn't want to sit in a bank parking lot. Plus, that's earned income. You got to pay 50% tax on that, whether you realize it or not. So I did the first one. Did that, got it put to bed. The house across the street went up for sale. Ed Melton, remember him?
Yeah, I do. Yeah.
Okay, Ed Melton had that. I didn't know who he was. I just saw a for sale sign go up in the house. Go up on the house across the street. Identical house. Pretty house. All I need to do is change the front door lock. That was it. So I bought that one for $26,000, and Ed seller financed it for me. And I put another tenant in there and told Tanya, I said, wow, this is cool. And she says, you know what, big boy? This is too good to be true. So I'm going to put a big leash on you, cut you off. You're going to have to sit still for a full year and see what happens to our bank account. Because we had it back then, we set up a separate bank account just to do real estate. Well, lo and behold, Sharon, 12 months later, we had $8,000 in there.
That was a lot of money back then. $8,000 in it. Oh my gosh, you got to keep in mind, when I got hired, it was $17,000 a year is what I was making. So at $8,000, she said, you can do one more. So I did. Boom, I did another one about a week. And I said, you know what? I think I can do this again. I did another one before the end of that month. And then I bought house number 5. And in house number 5, I had an interesting experience because remember these things here? My daddy taught me to change oil in my truck for what reason? So
save money.
So, yeah, save money to do it yourself.
Yeah, do it yourself to save money. So I get on my off day, Sharon. I go to the Porter paint store, get 2 5-gallon buckets of paint, and I go over to this empty house that I just bought, and I'm going to paint this thing. I'm not going to stop. And why am I doing that? Why am I painting this thing myself?
Save money.
Save money.
Save money.
While I'm over there painting that house, my pager starts going off. We had them big old pagers, look like a fax machine and a holster on your belt. And I said, I'm not budging. And I apologize for my voice. I've had this thing going on for almost 2 weeks today. But anyway, and so my pager went off. I said, I'm not budging until I get this house painted. I finished painting the inside of that house in about 5 hours. Everything's the same color. The woodwork, the ceiling, everything, same color. So I get it all painted. I go home and I go downstairs to my little basement office. Remember those answer machines that had 2 audio cassette tapes and we had TV tuner dials on them? I listened to my messages, okay? And Jay Long was on there and he says, Mike, I think this wholesaling thing works. I just did a deal today and I think I'm going to make $20,000 on Tuesday.
Oh, my word.
And I had a couple. And so I called up Jay right away, and he told me that a little old lady called him up, wanted to sell, moved to Florida. He didn't want the house, so he made her a ridiculous offer. She accepted, and he went, wow. So then he calls up Sharon. And Sharon's going to be the contractor to go over and look at the little old lady's house, and Sharon offers Jay $20,000 more. Sharon says, I'll give you all cash on Tuesday, Jay. Let's close this deal. Go to Porter's. Wow. Now, Jay was a full-time investor, remember?
I remember.
He lives at home with mom and dad. Dad buys his gas. Mom washes his clothes. Dad pays for his truck insurance. But he's a full-time investor.
That's a pretty good deal for Jay, wasn't it?
Yeah. So anyway, I finished listening to my other messages on my answer machine. My dad was on there a couple times. Police department was on there a couple times. And Sharon, here's where I about fell out of my chair. Guess who was on my answer machine at 8:45 a.m. that morning?
I have no idea.
Remember the little lady that wanted to sell her house and move to Florida?
Yes.
She was on my answer machine at 8:45 a.m. that morning saying, Mike, I hear you buy houses. I want you to buy my house. Please give me a call before 12 noon, or I'm going to start calling some of these other people. Now, what was I doing?
Painting the house.
Why?
Mm-hmm. Save money.
Save money. How much did I save?
A little bit, not much.
I think I had a negative number that day because I lost. I could have had that house painted for about $190 back then. Mm-hmm. Could have painted that thing. I missed out. So if you take $190 off the $20,000, that's what, $19,810 or something. Mm-hmm. I missed out on it because of the way I was raised and brainwashed. Mm-hmm. Sorry, Dad, but using your hands is not always best. We want to use our mind. We want to work smarter, guys, not harder. Mm-hmm. And so from that day forward, I've never worked on a house. I signed checks.
Well, that's the smart thing to do. And it's hard to tell people that you got to think of the big picture. You can't think of the, $100 or $200 that you're going to save here in the moment. I know that you kind of planned to leave your job, the police job, but wasn't there, it seems to me I remember a story kind of about a defining moment. You were working undercover in narcotics, wasn't that right? And you had something to happen?
No, narcotics. I was in the criminal ignorance unit. They called it intelligence, but I was in the criminal ignorance unit. So we had a narcotics division that focused on dope. I was in, let's say, organized crime, those who were in crime for profit, organized crime, bikers, all that other kind of stuff. Okay, so organized crime is what I focused on. Contract killing, murder for hires, all that stuff. So you said there was a defining moment. What was that?
Mm-hmm. Something about you told a story that you knew one night they were going to kill you, that you drove them down into the undercover police garage or something?
Oh, yeah. Yeah, they put a contract out on me. So that was from, that was a deal went up in Pennsylvania on stolen Corvettes. And, so I ended up leading them. Back then, our office was in a little office strip center called the Great Day Coffee Company, and they had a big garage service door in the back. And so we had the feds and the state police and a task force SWAT team, and we drove them right into that police garage. Yeah, but they had a contract out on me. They wanted to kill me, and my wife didn't like that too much. I just said, man, now it's getting exciting. But that was one, and my wife said, "Okay, that's it, no more."
I'll let you quit this police job.
Yeah, but the main thing for me was it was quite a bit of time prior to that event, though, Sharon, that my real estate income blew the doors off my police income. Mm-hmm.
Now, you have always been really good at systems, and the only way you could have done that with just yourself is you had to have systems and ways to manage all of this. So you went a long time before you actually hired your first person.
That's right, and that is true. I set some pretty high goals and got real close to achieving them there. But we had set my wife was a nurse. She worked full time. I was a policeman working full time. We owned and operated 75 rental properties without any office help. Wow. And when I get to speak and meet folks from all over the country, I know folks got 12 properties and they have a full-time office manager. Mm-hmm. So, when we got to 75, and I spent one Saturday returning phone calls, I'm like, you know what? I think we can hire somebody to work part-time to help out in this. And so then we hired somebody to work 5 hours a week, and we kept our business growing, and then it evolved into what it is today. Mm-hmm.
So when you started out, your plan was strictly houses. And I know now you have got about 1 million different income streams. You've written a book. You have courses. How did all of that evolve? Because just about everybody I've talked to started out and they were solely focused on real estate. They had no idea where their business was going to go. How did your business get so big?
How did it get so big? I believe in polishing systems, and one of the things, and I want to congratulate everybody. If you're watching this right now, you've got one of the core, fundamental, key ingredients to pull this off, and that is investing in yourself. And that's called education, whether you buy that or whether you go to an event somewhere, or, even if you if you learn something bad, you say, woo, that person's an idiot or this and that. Guess what you learned? You learned you don't want to do that. So sometimes that might save you some money too. So number one is you invest in yourself. But how did I do do that and branch out. And as Carl Fisher calls me, king of ka-ching. I just look for different ways to polish it, and you've got to set yourself, in my book anyway, I don't like being mediocre. Mm-hmm. So remember growing up in that neighborhood, everybody else, the status quo, wanted to get a job at a factory, and it's kind of like, everybody else in America, they're satisfied with getting a paycheck and living paycheck to paycheck. And, I remember when people from church would bring over boxes of used shoes for my brothers and sisters to go through to try on. And I didn't want my kids to experience that. My drive, my motivation for all of this, because I can sleep in a closet downtown somewhere. My drive, probably have. But my drive, my motivation is for my family, for my kids. And there's a double-edged sword there. So, you got to balance how much time you spend with work with, time with the family, and we struggle with that. Mm-hmm. I can see a lot of investors doing that, but you got to have both. But my drive, my motivation was my family. I wanted them to have the best life that I could provide for them. And so my daddy instilled that in me very well. Polishing systems, if I can work smarter and make more money by doing less work, being more efficient, cutting the fat, we come out of this, a lot of people say that it's still going on, the financial tsunami, the real estate bubble popping and all that. And you know what? I wasn't exempt from that. I got slammed up against a wall like a used, hot dog or something, splat. But they caused me to get in here, knuckle down, cut the fat, be more efficient. And we've got a stronger machine today than we've ever had before. Mm-hmm. And it's leaner, got fewer moving parts. And there's a lot of things that we can turn on in our business to complement it. And one good analogy that I like to use, Sharon, is let's say that you wanted to be a veterinarian.
Okay.
You what? You wish you could stay, but you got to go. See you later, Dave. All right, bye. Okay. Let's say you wanted to be a veterinarian.
Okay.
If you were a young kid, young whippersnapper, and you wanted to go to college to be a veterinarian, would you want to get a job at McDonald's or maybe get a job working with horses? Right. Or working as an assistant in a veterinarian's office or veterinary supplies. You see where I'm going with that?
Right.
PetSmart. Something to enhance or complement that. So the same thing here. So if you're in the real estate business, why can't you turn on other income streams that would help you out there? And I'm a big fan of education. So I went and got my real estate license as a real estate agent. And I was greedy. I must admit, my original goal was to get it so that I could use that as a trump card for commissions. But what I found out, Sharon, I know I was lucky I wasn't in trouble before, because there's a lot of things a guru won't teach you about the fundamentals of real estate. So I got that, then I got my broker's license. And so now, think about this. You've probably seen a lot of the things we get our fingers in. How about credit repair? Mm-hmm. You think people need help with that today? Mm-hmm. So we've got a branch where we can make some coins by helping people repair their credit. So we turn that on. We recommend it to all of our tenants. Okay, isn't that a good thing?
That's a great thing. And I think that's something, people will have different things that resonate with them. But you can always look around your individual business model and you can find things like credit repair or different types of education to complement and grow your business, because I'm primarily wholesaling. Do I want to be wholesaling houses forever? Absolutely not. So you got to figure out, what do I want for my passive income? What works for me? And you've been very successful as a landlord. Some people are leaning more toward just internet business, but everybody's a little bit different.
I tell you what, e-commerce is where it's happening. I love what you're doing. I see you out there all over Big Pockets and all other places. Mm-hmm. And Sharon is she is a voice to be heard. I love it. And she likes what we hear too. But you're exactly right, Sharon. Do things that complement your business. So being a landlord, having real estate investment property, there's credit repair that coattails on that. What are some other things? Mm-hmm. You can help people now know. You've heard that thing called send out cards?
Yes.
We've got a lot of lazy tenants, and so we push that to them. They sit at home in their lazy boy chair. They send out their birthday cards, their greeting cards, and all that, and you make coins on this. Mm-hmm. And you don't need a store. Yeah. You know what I mean? You don't need a bricks and mortar store. So you can have people. There's no geographic limits with e-commerce. So identify something. There's people that offer credit repair. There's probably things with credit report. If you've got a website for your real estate business, you can put all little things up there. Something as simple as what they call Google Ads.
Mm-hmm. Google AdWords.
Google Ads up there. And I don't know how much you get for that, but you get some coins coming in. It probably help your website get more traffic there. But there's all kinds of things with that.
Mm-hmm. I know that you also have had a lot of mentors over the years, and for me, you've been one of my primary mentors. I know that you give back a lot, but there's also a time that comes, don't you think, when you have to pay for mentoring? You just need to take your business to the next step, and you just got to invest in yourself. You have to write the check for some mentoring.
That's right. Call it a mastermind group, call it mentoring. But yeah, I have mentors. And what happens, I found out, Sharon, is as we move up, those fees don't get cheaper. So some of the groups I'm in, like, there was one I paid $25,000. Another one's $5,000 a day. Another one's $10,000 a day. And as of about 2 years ago, Sharon, I've added it up. I've paid over $250,000 just to my own education, not into college, but out there in real world stuff with successful people. And so I'm not saying spend that kind of money, okay, $250,000, but you know, pre-screen them, check them out, do your homework, do your due diligence on them. And I tell you what, it's a lot easier to learn from somebody that's been there and done that and can tell you why it's so important. Mm-hmm. They can share with you the mistakes and where it makes sense to you, how it's going to save you money and make you time. That's in a nutshell. Somebody goes out and buys 2 houses and thinks they're a guru. Nah, don't do that. Okay. So that's cool.
Well, I think, I wanted you to talk to, we're going to put all this stuff up on the post when we put it up, but I wanted to talk a little bit about lifestyle. I remember you doing your, Mike's got a Lunch and Learn series, and a few weeks ago, this is where every day at noon he teaches something for roughly 20 or 30 minutes. It's free to anybody to get on this call. But a few weeks ago, Mike's all propped up on a cruise ship, doing his lunch thing on a cruise ship. So I think you'd have to agree, while you work very hard, your lifestyle has changed dramatically since way back yonder.
The police department?
Yep.
Yes, it has. Yeah, I got my haircut too. So, I do it every weekday. I don't know if that's an echo on my end or not, but I'll try to turn that speaker down a little bit. But anyway, I do that power lunch. It's supposed to be 15 minutes. Every day, just some random topic, and we get on there and chew the fat and learn about it. And if you watch the ones we did when we were on the cruise, I had Tom Hennigan on there. And guys, I want to stress this to everybody. Get yourself a self-directed Roth IRA, tax-free profit and income for life. I met Tom Hennigan. Tom Hennigan has not spent 1 penny in income tax in the last 9 years. And he was a real estate investor who hit the wall, slammed, filed bankruptcy back in 1990, and made it all over again. You know how much he draws a year, tax-free?
I have no idea.
No?
Nope, don't have no idea.
$400,000.
$400,000?
Every year. $400,000 tax-free in his pocket every year.
Oh, my word. Well, I know you teach that a lot about the Roth IRAs, and so that's...
Love them. Yeah, fella just left out of my office here. We're doing 2 Roth IRA deals.
Wow. Well, before we close out here, Mike, I want you to tell everybody about the Great Investor Cruise that you sponsor, and I'd like to let everybody to understand that Mike sponsors this. This is a big deal. So tell them about the cruise and what's coming up and when it's going to be.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me to talk about it, sir. And we'll get you on there. TheGreatInvestorCruise.com, December the 1st through the 8th of 2012, a 7-day seminar at sea. Now, here's what's cool. You can take your family vacation cruise and turn it into a business expense. Isn't that cool?
That's very cool.
So, yeah, you gotta have some kind of business. And Mike Brennan, now who's gonna be on there? You know Harry Borders, our real estate attorney?
Mm-hmm. I do.
He's on there. He's going to be teaching. He's going to be teaching on that. Mike Brennan, my CPA, he's going to be teaching on there. Carl Fisher with the Roth IRAs. Mm-hmm. He's going to have sessions on there with that. And folks, none of these folks have any courses or products to sell. All meat and potatoes, content and training. That's cool. So as a rule of thumb, generally on a 7-day cruise, We're going to go around to different ports. We leave out of New Orleans, so you got to get your butt down to New Orleans, get on the boat. It's Royal Caribbean. I love that. That same ship that you saw me doing that pirate lunch from with Tom, Navigator of the Seas. I love Royal Caribbean because it's just a lot nicer than Carnival. Okay. And anyway, so we leave New Orleans. We're going to go, I don't know, maybe Jamaica and Cozumel or something like that. But we're going to have 3 days at sea, driving around between each port. And those full days at sea, we're going to have a class. They have a private conference center. You get to attend a class. If you register early, you'll get a table so you can put your coffee and rest your arms and put your notebooks up there. And we're in a private conference center, removed from the rest of the world there. And we do classes at sea those 3 days. And then in the evenings, like at 8 o'clock, we have what we call night owl or late night Q&A sessions on different topics with different speakers. And then all day, imagine this. Imagine going to a beach and hooking up with investors from California or Texas, Tennessee or whatever. What I have found, I've met some great investors, great friends off of cruises alone, and they tell the real story. Yeah. For example, hey, Sharon, how'd you do this, this, and this? Well, let me tell you what I tried back in my hometown, and I did this for a little bit, and it didn't work. But let me tell you what's kicking butt right now. They'll do that because they're not teaching the competition back home. And you know they're qualified because they're on a cruise. Yeah. The education is unparalleled you get there because, like you said, you get the truth and nothing but the truth, and you get to take a family vacation too. So sounds like a great deal. Have lunch, have dinner. You have lunch, have dinner with these guys and gals that we're going to have on this cruise all week long for an entire week. And, it's awesome. But we've had a mild winter here. But I love those things, okay? And we do them every year. And the one that you saw me on before was the National RIA Cruise. And but ours is better. 10 times better.
10 times better.
I love it.
Well, Mike, thanks so much for coming on today. I really appreciate it. I know you're one busy guy. Had to catch you when you were in town. We will put all your information up on the site, and everybody out there, go and take a look at Mike's stuff, and certainly take a look at the Great Investor Cruise. Once again, thanks, Mike.
What's your website? What's your website, Sharon?
My website is Louisville Gals Real Estate Blog. Gals? Real Estate Blog.
But I'm not a gal.
Well, that's okay. I got lots of guys there.
So is it called LouisvilleGals.com or
no, Louisville Gals Real Estate Blog .com. I'll send it to you.
Cool. All right, guys. Listen to Sharon. You can't go wrong. She's been there. She's done that. Well, thank you so much, Sharon, for having me on.
Thank you, Mike.
All right. Bye-bye, guys.
Bye.